Assuming the sale. You want to do business with them. What's wrong with assuming that they want to do business with you? As customers, don't we all prefer to do business with a professional that acts like that's exactly what's going to happen? If you act confidently, you will automatically be more confident. It feels good to be assertive and assume customers want to do business with you. Just remember, there's a fine line between assuming the sale and being overly aggressive, arrogant, or cocky. Know where that line is and don't cross it. When we meet with a prospect, we should be thinking, I'm just going to show them what they are getting and collect the payment. The meeting, interview, recommendation, presentation, and demonstration are simple small formalities that must be taken care of before the sales agreement can be written up. I once worked with a sales associate named Chris, who was consistently the #1 representative at the company. One habit that he was well known for was that very early in any business presentation, he reached into his briefcase and pulled out a sales agreement, which he placed in plain view on the corner of the client's desk. He did this for several reasons: to take the pressure off him and to get the prospect comfortable with the idea that a sales agreement was going to be required. He reinforced that he was serious and that he was there to do business, and he eliminated the pressure that often arises when it's time to close the sale. It was his bold way of saying, we will be needing this, let's get it out here on the table so it's handy at the end of our conversation. This certainly was a very upfront manner of assuming the sale, and it worked. Professional athletes must go onto the playing field planning to win every time. Isn't that why they play? Runners begin the race with every intention of crossing the finish line. When we don't assume the sale, what message are we conveying to our prospect? They may think we don't really believe what we're telling them, or our lack of passion may broadcast the message that we don't care. Even worse, they may think we're not convinced our product or services are of the best value or quality. We need to enter every sales scenario like we expect to win, otherwise we fail to do our best. Whether we go visit the customer or they come visit us, our manner, conversation, and body language should always project a positive outcome. As a matter of fact, we should be surprised if the prospects don't follow through. It's almost as if we are serving a customer in a checkout line. Of course they want something, otherwise why would they have lined up? Being together with this person is no accident. They were destined to be our customer. It's a done deal, a slam dunk, money in the bank. You're likely familiar with the phrase, seeing is believing. This isn't the case. Believing is seeing. Here's a list of some of the more common mistakes made when it's time to wrap up the sale. Hesitate. Remember, he who hesitates is lost. Wait for the customer to say they want it. Talk themselves right out of the sale. Loose lips sink ships. Fail to follow a success pattern or standard operating procedure. Get nervous or lose focus, or in other words, choke. Fizzle out before the grand finale. Become sidetracked. Wimp out. Say something like, I'll leave it with you. Why don't I call you back about this? When will you know what your decision is? I might be able to do better than this. Did you have any other questions? Or is there anything else? But don't ask for the order. Misread the customer and decide they aren't interested without asking. Become afraid that the prospect won't like them if they come across too pushy. Just remember, it's okay to be nice, just not too nice. Start thinking they're in a popularity contest and they will lose favor with the client if they ask them to buy. Make incorrect assumptions based on incomplete information. Allow psychological barriers to interfere with their personal success or believe they don't deserve it. Become overly sympathetic to the prospect's current situation. Success in sales does require the ability to lead, guide, and direct. There are times when you must assert yourself. Zig Ziglar nailed it when he said, "Timid salesmen raise skinny kids." Anatomy of a sales call. An effective sales meeting or appointment will have a definite structure to it. This inverted pyramid shows 6 distinct steps in the sales process: breaking the ice, rapport building; introduction, positioning statement, objectives and mutual agenda; client interview; presentation, demonstration or recommendation; negotiation and overcoming objections; closing the sale. Depending on the nature of your business, the complexity of the sale, and the price of the product or services involved, this step in the selling process may require one or several meetings to complete. To put it into simpler terms, the meeting or the evolution of a business relationship will have a beginning, a middle, and an end. As you become more experienced at conducting sales appointments, these steps will flow together very smoothly to the point that only another sales professional will even notice the transition. The more competent that you become at the first 4 steps, the easier the last 2 steps will be. The steps of the sales process. In your business or industry, what is the anatomy of a sales call? What are the steps to success in the process? Assuming that there are 7 steps in the sales process, what names would you assign to the 7 steps? Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, step number 4, step number 5, step number 6, and step number 7. Consider the significance of each of the following steps: breaking the ice, rapport building, introduction, positioning statement, mutual agenda or objectives, client interview, needs assessment, fact-finding, qualifying, presentation, demonstration or recommendation, negotiation, overcoming objections. How likely are you to experience success, get the order, if you skip, breeze over, or fail to complete this step? How much more difficult will it be to secure the business? If you follow the steps properly, how does that impact customer objections? Learning Spotlight number 1. It's time to review what we've covered so far. Each question in the quiz has a 90-second time limit, and the quiz has a 15-minute time limit. You cannot pause the quiz once you begin. The quiz includes many types of questions, including true or false, drag and drop, multiple answers, etc. Read the questions carefully and make sure you understand what is being asked before submitting your response. Many of the questions or variations of them will be included in the final exam. You will be graded, and the passing grade for the quiz is 70%. You will have 3 chances to attain a passing grade. If you fail to attain a passing grade after 3 attempts, you will be locked out of the course. You will have an opportunity to review the quiz responses upon successful completion. If you wish to review the previous slides and sections, do so before advancing. Upon completion of the quiz, please click on the green Next button with the white arrow in order to advance to the next step in the learning path. This concludes step number 2 of the learning path. Please click on the green Next button with the white arrow in order to advance when you are ready to proceed.